Have you ever stopped to think about the magic inside your phone, or your laptop, or your smart TV, or even your car? It's not actual magic, but it's pretty close. It's all powered by tiny pieces of silicon called chips. These chips, or microprocessors, are the brains behind almost every piece of technology we use today. They're the reason you can stream your favorite show, video chat with a friend across the world, or get directions to a new coffee shop. They are the unsung heroes of our modern lives, quietly processing billions of commands every single second. Without them, our digital world would simply grind to a halt. Think of it like this. If our digital world were a giant city, chips would be the power grid, the transportation system, the communication network. Every single action, from a simple like on a photo to a complex scientific calculation, depends on these chips. Over the years, companies have been in a race to make them smaller, faster, more powerful. This race, often described by Moore's law, has given us incredible technological advancements, but lately it feels like we're hitting a wall. The traditional way of making chips is getting harder and more expensive. And the heat they generate is becoming a huge problem. This is where the story gets really interesting. When a technology hits its limit, it opens the door for something completely new to take its place. It creates a moment, a spark, where a revolutionary idea can change everything. We've seen this happen before. Horse-drawn carriages to cars, dial-up internet to broadband. Each shift unlocked a new level of possibility we could barely imagine before. We are standing at the edge of another one of those moments right now, and it's all because of a new kind of chip that doesn't play by the old rules. What if I told you the next big leap in technology wasn't about making our current chips just a little bit better? What if it was about changing the fundamental way they work? Imagine a chip that uses light instead of electricity to think. A chip that could be thousands of times faster and use way less energy. This isn't science fiction anymore. A new contender has entered the arena, promising to redefine what's possible in computing. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift, and it could change our daily lives in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Designers targeted two big problems, speed and heat. By using light, they aimed for unprecedented processing speeds while barely getting warm. This might sound abstract, but the implications are massive. Apps on your phone feeling instantly responsive no matter how complex. To really get why Meteor-1 is such a big deal, we need to understand the basic difference between how it works and how traditional chips work. For decades, every computer chip, from the one in your toaster to the massive processors in a supercomputer, has been electronic. This means they work by controlling the flow of electrons, tiny, negatively charged particles, through circuits made of materials like silicon and copper. Think of it like a massive, incredibly complex system of pipes and valves. By opening and closing billions of tiny valves or transistors at incredible speeds, the chip can perform calculations. This electronic method has served us incredibly well. It's the foundation of the entire digital revolution. However, it has its limits, and we are starting to bump up against them. As we make the pipes smaller and smaller to cram more of them onto a single chip, two major problems emerge. The first is resistance. Electrons bump into things as they travel, which slows them down and creates friction. This friction generates a ton of heat. That's why your laptop gets hot when you're editing a video. Now let's look at optical chips like Meteor-1. Instead of electrons, they use photons, which are particles of light. Think of this as swapping out the complex system of pipes for a network of flawless fiber optic cables. Photons travel at, well, the speed of light, and crucially, they don't really bump into each other or generate the same kind of resistance and heat as electrons. They just go. This means you can send way more information way faster without turning your chip into a tiny space heater. The energy efficiency is off the charts, so the core difference is simple: electricity versus light. Electronic chips push electrons through crowded pathways, creating a traffic jam that generates heat and limits speed. Optical chips shoot photons down clear, open highways at the fastest speed possible in the universe. This fundamental shift from pushing matter to guiding light is what makes optical computing so revolutionary. It's not just about going faster, it's about breaking free from the physical constraints that have started to hold back the entire tech industry. Meteor-1 is one of the first real-world examples of this theory put into practice. That's an optical modulator, a key part of Meteor-1. It translates data into patterns of light and dark, optical ones and zeros. Light has properties electrons don't: colors, wavelengths. Optical chips use these properties to multiplex data. When you talk about high-performance chips, especially for AI, one name dominates the conversation: NVIDIA. Their GPUs, or graphics processing units, H100B200, are the undisputed kings of the hill. They are the engines powering the AI revolution, training large language models like ChatGPT. So how does a brand new technology like China's Meteor-1 stack up against the reigning champion? Not apples to apples, fundamentally different beasts. Let's talk raw performance. In tasks needing massive parallel data movement, Meteor-1 shows staggering potential. Matrix multiplication, the mathematical backbone of AI. Meteor-1 uses interference of light waves to solve them almost instantaneously. Early benchmarks for these ops suggest orders of magnitude faster than NVIDIA's top GPUs. Not 10 or 20%, potentially 100 or 1,000 times faster. Mind-boggling. Biggest difference, power consumption and heat. NVIDIA GPUs are power-hungry. A single rack can use as much electricity as a small neighborhood and needs complex liquid cooling systems. Massive operational cost. Meteor-1 runs cool. Photons don't create the same resistive heat as electrons, so it uses a fraction of the power. You can pack far more processing into the same space without huge air conditioning, dramatically lowering costs and environmental impact. Be realistic. NVIDIA has a massive head start. Their chips are general-purpose powerhouses backed by CUDA, a mature software ecosystem used by developers for over a decade. Meteor-1 is a specialist, excels at certain tasks, but not yet as flexible or easy to program. Think Formula One car versus a high-end SUV. F1 is unbeatable on a racetrack. You can't take it to the grocery store or use it for general-purpose computing. The challenge? Build a software ecosystem. The emergence of the Meteor-1 chip isn't just a cool tech story, it's a major event with huge geopolitical and economic implications. For decades, the semiconductor industry has been dominated by a handful of countries and companies. United States NVIDIA, Intel, AMD Taiwan, TSMC, South Korea, Samsung. This global supply chain is incredibly efficient, but also incredibly fragile, as we saw with the chip shortages in recent years. China has long been the world's largest consumer of semiconductors, but it has historically relied on foreign technology for the most advanced chips. This has been a point of strategic vulnerability. In recent years, international trade restrictions have made it harder for Chinese companies to access cutting-edge chip technology and manufacturing equipment. In response, China has launched a massive state-funded effort to achieve self-sufficiency in semiconductors. The goal is not just to catch up, but to leapfrog the current technology and become a leader in the next generation of computing. Meteor-1 is the most visible fruit of that effort. Optical computing is still relatively new and not yet dominated by established players. China has found a way to sidestep the traditional silicon-based roadmap. It's a bold strategy. Instead of trying to win the current game, they are trying to change the game entirely. Meteor-1 is more than just a piece of hardware. It's a powerful symbol of China's national ambition. Bustling city at night, full of ambition. The country's leadership has made it crystal clear that technological independence is a top national priority. They refer to this as the dual circulation strategy. Build a strong domestic market. Build a technological base less reliant on the outside world. The semiconductor industry is the absolute cornerstone of this plan. Being able to design and produce your own advanced chips means you control your own destiny in the digital age. Free from the pressures of foreign sanctions or supply chain disruptions, this push for self-reliance has been fueled by a sense of urgency. Restrictions on companies like Huawei served as a stark reminder of dependence on foreign tech. The inability to source high-end chips crippled one of its most successful global tech giants. That event galvanized the government and the private sector to pour unprecedented resources into building a domestic chip industry from the ground up, funding research at universities, providing massive subsidies for new manufacturing plants, fabs. The development of Meteor-1 shows a shift in this strategy. Initially, they tried replicating and catching up to silicon-based tech. That approach proved incredibly difficult. Decades of knowledge and a complex global supplier ecosystem. By pivoting to optical computing, China is playing a different game. It's a high-risk, high-reward approach. If it succeeds, it bypasses established leaders. As we stand here at the end of August 2025, it's clear that something fundamental is shifting in the world of technology. The Meteor-1 chip is more than just an impressive piece of engineering from China. It's a herald of a new age of computing. For 50 years, our progress has been defined by the steady rhythm of Moore's law, the constant shrinking of electronic transistors. But that rhythm is slowing, and the physical limits of silicon and electricity are coming into view. Meteor-1, and the optical computing technology it represents offers a brilliant new path forward. It promises a future where our computational power is no longer limited by heat and resistance, but only by our imagination. This transition from electronics to photonics could be as impactful as the original invention of the microchip itself. It has the potential to solve the single biggest problem holding back progress in so many fields: the energy cost of computation. By making computing exponentially more efficient, AI, medicine, climate science, we can build a smarter, more connected world without the unsustainable energy consumption of today's data centers. While you might not have a Meteor-1 in your smartphone next year, the technology will eventually trickle down. Imagine truly seamless augmented reality glasses that can overlay information on the world in real time without a bulky battery pack. The massive processing power and energy efficiency of optical computing unlocks a whole new category of consumer devices that are simply not possible with today's chip technology. It's a future that will be faster, smarter, and more efficient than anything we have ever known. The age of optical computing has begun.